Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
Well, a very pleasant good evening. Welcome to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, week number 2 of season number 5, and it is Ghost Energy Drink season opener number 2 at the racetrack. I'm Caleb Hart. Chad Fitzpatrick joining me, one of the great drivers we have in our Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late models. Welcome back to the booth, Chad. Looking forward to a fun night of action.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. We're glad to have you back in. 5 classes of action for you here. We'll kick things off into the heat race as we go. And, of course, our program here on Home Track Heroes brought to you by Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. These are the Superstock Figure 8s, Monroe Grocery Outlet. Superstock Figure 8s, and Robert Weldon's on the pole. He's the yellow 63 car, sponsored by All Ply Roofing LLC. The JE55, that spells Jess. Pilchuck Heating and Air Conditioning, number JE55 of Jessica Wilkinson.
Second row, we got the 43 of Sheridan Vincent, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment, and the 72 of Jeff Talbert, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating.
In row number 3, Jacob Funk driving the 8 car. Next to him, 67 Mackenzie Needs to be ECU sponsored machine. And at the back, it's Rick Yargis, the 17X, sponsored by McCarthy General Contractors. The green is out. We're underway. First heat race, and Weldon already going to go around and visit the infield as they come through the South Pole.
Not a good way to start that heat race, but out front, it's the JE55 of Jessica Wilkinson and the 43 of Sheridan Vincent. I believe this is his second year in this division.
And looking very good off at the start. I did some research, and I cannot remember for the life of me. Old Tommy Helm car?
Tommy Gap car.
Tommy Gap car, okay.
New car to him.
All right, and fast. Apparently good history on that race car as well.
Oh, yes, and then looks like we got in the third place position. That is the 72 of Jeff Talbert, looking in a very familiar car, driving his grandpa's car. Paint job, I should say.
All out here to honor his family. That's why he races, just to have a good time and make sure the family name and the family number continues on.
Very, very cool. But out front, it is JE55 Jessica Wilkinson with a whole bunch of front bumper from the Sheridan Vincent vehicle.
And Vincent looking for a way past. You'll see him swing wide coming into the South Pole up into the speedy dry that got put down a little bit earlier on before we took the air. It was a very thick, heavy line of speedy dry. You can see it right in the racing groove, too.
Yeah, that could definitely pose a very big hindrance throughout the rest of the night. It looks like someone, unfortunately, had a very, very expensive day.
Unfortunately, you're correct, as it was actually an oil filter that came apart, but didn't have a chance to get it all fixed up. It was on the Rick Jones number 66 car that you may or may not see in action a little bit later on, depending on whether they get fixed. Vincent trying to swing around to the outside. Something we should mention as well as the course of today, there is potential for wet weather coming up, so keep your eyes peeled.
And that will definitely get in the drivers' minds. If I was a driver right now, clearly you want it to stay dry.
Yes. Now,
if it starts sprinkling and it's kind of not really knowing what the weather's going to do, I would rather just have it start downpouring right now. I don't want to drive on a semi-wet, semi-dry track, but as out front, it's still dry, and Jessica Wilkinson looking to hopefully pick up her first heat race win of the season.
Doing everything she needs to do, coming to the white flag the next time by. Vincent going to swing wide, coming through the left-hand turn portion of the course. Eyeballing the low groove coming off, and you can see him course correct as they work their way through the intersection. He's got one more set of corners to try to pull this off.
Yeah, I think the only way to get around her is by the outside. It looks like Jessica's just got to crank that wheel a couple more times, and I think she'll have her first win of the season.
Indeed she does. Off the current corner she goes. Wilkinson takes checkered flag ahead of Vincent, Talbert, and Dietz 1 through 4. So there are your Superstock figure 8s. Let's move up to the big boys. These are the Outlaw figure 8s. It's the Chain Link Express Wash Outlaw figure 8s. These guys, they have no rules as far as car construction goes. Basically, they say, don't dope up your tires, build the fastest race car you can get, go race.
Exactly. And on the front row, moving up from the Superstock Figure 8 division, the 68 of Howard Mackey, sponsored by Bubba's Roadhouse, and the 71 of Nick Holton, sponsored by Northwest Adventures Rentals.
Row number 2, it's a familiar one for you Outlaw Figure 8 fans. Jamie Corbett, the 767 out of Arlington, the A1 Auto Service Center car. And Zach Larson's the orange and black 83 G machine. Chris Curtis at the back, the Bulldog Haven Northwest, number 74, one of the Boney cars out there as we go. 5 cars, 8 times around. This means absolutely nothing for the main event lineup, but it is worth season championship points here as they get the race started.
Most definitely. If you were in it for points, you definitely... Oh, we already got some contact. It looks like the 68 of Mackey gets right in the back of the 83 of Larson. And we stay green thus far. Watch and see.
And wait for it. Oh,
they're going.
All right.
We're going.
We'll stay clean and green as they come in and through the corner, and that's going to give us a little intersection going on. As you can see, Curtis having to split the difference there between Corbett and Mackey and Larson back at the back of the field.
Yeah, this will definitely be a good main event. We're already getting traffic in the intersection. We'll double the car count for this race in the evening. But the one person that really came out down low was the 767 of Jamie Corbett. Didn't get any damage from that wreck, but he had to pretty much come to a complete stop.
Cost him a whole lot of track position, as there is Curtis, who's got 5th to 2nd in just 3 laps. And you can see him, he is really narrowing that gap out front to Nick Holt.
Yeah, it looks like he's got about a 1 car length lead, actually make it almost right to the rear bumper, but he goes in way hard into the corner. Able to stay with Holton, so it looks like we got 4 laps to go halfway through this, and your guess is as good as mine as who can win this.
Well, yes, we have talked about before here on Figure 8 Racing in particular. We expect them to get physical. There will be some bumping. There will be a lot of application of those big old cow catcher front bumpers. You can see him hanging off the car, and there is the first instance of it as Curtis gives him a love tap coming off the North Pole.
Oh, yeah, they build those bumpers for a reason. They're not for looks at all. But you want to be careful because those bumpers can hook onto the back bumper, and then you'll have a huge mess right there as Chris Curtis looks to the outside and 2 laps to go for Holton.
Swung wide, door closed, can't get by. Holton, the youngster, doing a good job holding off the veteran, the former season champion, and Curtis. And look at that. Larson is caught up from being behind, being involved in that opening lap spin out. He is going to tuck right into 3rd and hope for a mistake here at the white flag lap.
Yeah, this will definitely be, arguably right now, I believe Zach Larson has to be the fastest car on the racetrack. He caught them so fast, and it looks like Larson is possibly going to get into 2nd. Maybe a little contact there. We'll see what happens here.
Curtis manages to hold him off, coming off of the right-hand portion of the course, and give it to Holton. So Holton's going to go the distance. He will take the victory over Curtis. Larson back way out of it, but he had that run to the inside of Holton, and will settle for 3rd, a little ways back, but time to improve. Again, it's just heat race. We've got a main event for those cars coming up later on in the program. Speaking of main events, first one of the year, BECU Mini Stocks for a class that is growing in car count, growing in talent within the division as well. This could be fun. They're going 30 times around on our 3/8 mile circle, and of course this is the BECU Mini Stocks. Your pole sitter, the red 61, is Randy Dittmars from ATR, Andrews Truck Repair. And Jimmy Absher, the wild man, next to him, car number 26, sponsored by NPM Welding and Fabrication.
And then we got the rookie 18 of Paisley Bender, sponsored by Strideline Socks, and the 14 of Austin Kramer, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound.
The 3rd row, the former Hornet driver, Trent Gillespie, the 025, sponsored by Waltz Demo and Excavating. Next to him, Jackson Beckel going mini stock racing. The 18J is sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington.
Then we got the 12 car Gavin Blue, sponsored by Absher Build LLC, and the 21J Justin Brave, sponsored by J2 Racing Parts.
The 5th row is your defending track champion, Lyndon Smith, in the 221, sponsored by PRCBD.com. Travis Woodward, multiple-time feature winner, next to him, the 16 car, sponsored by Brava Pizza in Snohomish.
And the 81 car Bobby Fisher, a fast time qualifier, sponsored by Tire Pros, and the 24 Jaden Kelly, and sponsored by Tom's Automotive.
Ronnie Absher, the yellow 72, at the back of the field, sponsored by United States Seafood. He's at his federal way. Green flag is out, and we are underway here for the BECU Mini Stock Main, and just like that, the yellow's going to come right back out. It's Dittmars and a whole bunch of cars out in the grass.
Yeah, not a good way to start off the main event.
Jaden Kelly decides to give us a nice front end of that beautiful pink race car. The Cookie Queen says, here, TV time for me. As we get a look in-car footage from Woodward. Here's Woodward at the end, and yeah, just nowhere to go.
Good thing we don't have walls on the outside of the 3/8.
I mean, that could cause some more torn-up race cars, which as a parts guy, I'm not horribly upset at, but it's going to happen. One more look from the Turn 1 cam. We've got more coming up, more BECU Mini Stock main event after this on Home Track Heroes. And welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. Appreciate you guys spending your Sunday evening with us. I'm Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. These are the BECU Mini Stocks. We tried to get the main event up and going. Didn't have so much luck, but guess what? Everybody's going to just go right back into place. We'll try it again.
We will definitely try it again. It's been 6 months since they've raced, so they're trying to remember how to do this.
Exactly. Of course, Home Track Heroes brought to you by Gene Johnson, Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. BECU Mini Stocks for 30 times around, and that's a much cleaner looking start, at least into corner number 1.
Yeah, definitely a lot cleaner. We'll see what the officials have to say about that. The 26 car of Jimmy Absher had a pretty good jump on the 61 of Dittmars, but I think we're going to keep on trucking here.
through the corner we go. You get a look at the full field in the upper right corner. Oh, Jimmy, hang on, buddy.
Whoa.
Hang on. He will do so.
Wow.
And
Oh, my goodness.
no, hangs on and immediately exits the
Wow.
racetrack. So Absher leads lap 1 and then hands it over to Justin Brave. No, hands it over to
Jackson Beckel.
Jackson Beckel, in fact.
He's leading, but the man on the move right now is the 21J of Justin Brave, moving up into second, started way back in the field, utilizing that high line. I don't know, you were saying we had some weather in the area. Looked like I see Gavin Blue with his windshield wiper on.
Yeah, it's, I would bet you it's sprinkling, at least at the moment. And we've talked about this in the program before. Wet weather starts coming down and cars start moving up racetrack when that happens.
Yeah, and I definitely, these drivers probably have their cars set up for the dry.
Yep.
So they're definitely going to be scrambling here as we got the 21J of Justin Brave coming in quick to the 18 of Jackson Beckel. Something going on with Beckel's car when he goes in the middle of the corner. Starts bumping and sliding all over the place. Of course, didn't do it that corner.
Of course. Commentator's curse of our own, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this is going to happen, then it completely stops. Brave to the inside of Beckel through the corner, and boy, no quarter given by Beckel there. He definitely kept that line real low on the track and forced Brave to go underneath the white coming off the turn. Brave's going to do it again. This time he will take the lead over, but Beckel really holding strong to the race groove that he was in.
That was definitely a veteran move. When you have someone underneath you, you're obviously never going to give away the spot. We're here to race, but you do want to push them down a little bit. You want to keep that preferred line, and it's definitely worked out for him. And the 025 of Trent Gillespie, I believe this is his mini stock debut as well, doing a fantastic job.
Man, the only guy brave enough to turn a CRX into a mini stock at this point in time. However, looking good. He's in the middle groove, going to cede a spot to Travis Woodward, who just got forward.
Yeah, it looks like that's the battle for fifth, top 5 position in the 221. Lyndon Smith, last year's champion, won many, many races, and then the other gentleman making his mini stock debut, the 81 of Bobby Fischer, fast time qualifier as well. What a great job for him, and he is the man on the move right now.
There's a couple of cars there with championship pedigree. Of course, we know that Lyndon picked up the championship last year, but of course that's the former Lane Sunholm car, which has many race wins and titles. And then behind him, I think Fisher's got the old Colton Price championship season car.
I'm not sure. I think Lucas Hassenfluck has that, and I don't think he made it out tonight. Because that car is I believe the 81 car Bobby Fischer, I believe is a Honda, where Colton Price's old car was a Rabbit, a VW Rabbit.
All right.
I believe, don't quote me on this, I think Bobby Fischer's car was a new build.
Either way, it's looking fast as he is pacing your defending champion quite well. Smith not getting away from Fischer in the very familiar blue, red flame, white number cars. We take a look at your leader again, and Justin Brave's trying to get away from this field and hide as quickly as he possibly can.
Yeah, Justin Brave does not want to caution. He easily has a full straightaway lead on the 18J at Jackson Beckel, and then in third, Gavin Blue. Running into a little bit of lap traffic, but clean and clear out in front is Justin Brave.
Yeah, looking good as you see. He's got that full straightaway and trying to open it up to an additional corner as Baloo doing everything he can to try to get around Beckel, and Beckel not making it easy on Baloo either as he hugs the bottom of the racetrack. And again, left side drive tires down in and below the white stripe now. As it gets wet and the water runs downhill, if you get too far down there, you risk hitting a puddle. That can happen.
Yeah, when it gets wet out here, you definitely want to tend to go to the high side because obviously water runs with the path of least resistance, goes downhill,
right?
So it'll actually be drier up top. But one thing that the 18J of Jackson Beckel has a disadvantage if it does start raining more is he is a rear-wheel drive car versus the front-wheel drive car that Gavin Blue's driving. Personal preference, it's easier to drive a front-wheel drive car in the rain.
You can just swim that back end all over the place. Kind of fun.
Yeah, and
allegedly.
It looks like the 12 car of Gavin Blue having some brake issues. Watch him go into the corner. The brakes are glowing red.
Oh yeah, it's hard to see, but it's definitely there to the educated eye. There's just that hue to it, I guess, for lack of a better term.
And he clearly doesn't know that they're glowing hot, but throughout the race, his brakes will definitely be getting softer and softer.
As you take a look, here comes the pack that's run them down. It is Woodward up to the back of Baloo. He has brought Lyndon with him. He's brought Fischer with him. As we're at the halfway point of this main event, 15 in the books, 15 on the ledger, and there is Woodward making the bid for third.
Yeah, definitely a very fast pass, not wasting any time. He has a lot of ground to make up. He's going to have to waste no time on Jackson Beckel as well as he looks to the inside of Beckel. Justin Brave way up front saying, you boys have at it, just keep going as he gives a build a bigger lead.
Please race hard. Race as hard as you want to. As down low and protecting his Beckel, here comes Woodward. Woodward going to sneak a nose to the inside, going into 3, nothing doing. Gets up, love tap. Coming around the outside, Lyndon Smith looking to take advantage. Almost 3 wide down the front straightaway and into 1. And now the nose flap coming up on the Woodward car.
Yeah, oh, we got contact. The 18J and the 16 of Woodward. We stay green thus far, but that is definitely going to cost them some positions.
Yeah, lost a hood pin, bent the hood pin bar, something on Woodward's car. And now he's going to have to deal with the annoyance of the hood just kind of flapping in the breeze there as he drives down the front straightaway. He also lost a ton of positions in that exchange.
And I hope for his sake that hood stays on, because I've had a hood go up while I've been driving. It's a very scary thing to happen. But the one thing, the person that definitely pounced on that was the 221 of Lyndon Smith, gaining 3 spots in one corner.
So Woodward now back up on the back of Beckel as this battle intensifies once again. This is for 5th on the racetrack. As you see Beckel holding to the low groove, and Woodward right there stalking him as they come up and put Dittmers even further down. Into the turn they go, and the battle again for 5th. It is on.
And now the battle for the final podium spot, or actually that's not the final podium spot. Spot for 2nd is the 81 of Bobby Fischer getting to the inside of Lyndon Smith. He'll throw it into turn number 3. Lyndon Smith fighting hard on the outside, and it looks like it might be, oh no, we got a caution, and that is not what Justin Brave wanted.
No, in fact, that is very bad. He races all of his lead, and it's the 18 of Josh Beckel. Stopped on the inside of turn number 2. Let's see exactly how it went down. There's Woodward up on him, and remember, these two tussled a little bit ago, and
whoops.
There's the tap. There he goes around. You guys at home saw how everything went down, and be your own judge on that one. So, caution flag is out. Chance for this field to regroup just beyond the halfway point of this. And, yeah, Justin Brave, he had a good run going, but unfortunately he's in some trouble now with that field caught up to him.
And if I'm Bobby Fischer, knowing that this is his first ever race, I'm going, holy cow, I am up here.
Yeah. Well, he's got a chance. This segment brought to you by BECU, Boeing Employee Credit Union. Believes in people over profit. BECU, altogether different. BECU, proud sponsor of our mini stock class. So on the restart, 10 to go. And back to green flag action. Brave on the inside gets a good start, stringing Lyndon Smith long around the outside. And here comes Fischer with the run underneath him, looking for a chance to pass.
And that was a fantastic start. Not a good start for Lyndon Smith, losing a spot there. But Bobby Fischer right on the Justin Brave's rear bumper cover, looking to maybe make a pass in the next lap or two. He seems to be a little bit faster than Justin Brave as they go into turn number 1, and he is right there with them.
Yeah, Fischer's got a fast hot rod here this afternoon. As you can see, the back end of the Brave car just trying to step out on it. It might have been enough to get him upset going into 3, because Fischer's got the preferred line to the inside of the racetrack. Coming off corner number 4, Brave going to hold it barely on this lap, but Fischer's right there.
Yeah, Fischer with the lead by just inches at the stripe on the inside. Justin Brave trying to fight on the outside, but he's got nothing for Bobby Fischer. What a run for him.
How cool would this be? You know, we've seen that guy have his heart broken more than a few times in the Hornet division over the years before finally getting one. And here, night number 1 is a full-time mini-stock driver, and he's in the catbird seat with just 7 to go.
Yeah, I bet the nerves are starting to go, because I'm guessing in the back of his mind, he's remembering those Hornet moments. He would have won 6 or 7 Hornet main events if he didn't have a late race caution.
Yeah, ill-timed yellow flags. The big difference is that he was the fast car out of the gate here. And so rather than be out front early and establish a huge lead, this was him passing everybody to get to the top spot. So slightly different situation. His confidence might be through the roof at the moment.
I would hope so, and it looks like we've got the youngsters fighting for that. I believe that was the 6th or 7th spot, Gavin Blue and the 14 Austin Kramer, but back out front, he is gaining an even more lead on the 21J of Justin Brave.
Yeah, this might be academic at this point in time for Fischer, who is just out and moseying. Brave holding 3 car lengths over Smith, the 21 and the 221, as they roll through the corner, put Jaden down a lap. Those two battle for 3rd and trying to hold on to the 2nd and 3rd place spots on our podium. We'll go down to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium after this is all done and talk to them. Meanwhile, Woodward renews rivalry with Beckel that's already burgeoning here in the early season.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if Woodward will try to look to the outside or maybe try to look to the inside, and we'll watch and see. Oh, he looked to the inside. I don't know what's going to go on here.
A conversation in the pit area
Yes.
afterwards, baby, as they move down the back straightaway with 3 to go. Now Travis sets up to look outside, and you wonder if that's just a fake. If he's trying to get Beckel to maybe open up his entry and open the low side up at the corner just so he can dive down and get it. It's allowing Baloo to come in on him and race for a spot. Also allowing one of the 18 cars, I believe. Is that Paisley? No, it's Kramer who's coming into it to try to be a factor.
But white flag, the longest lap in Bobby Fischer's career, is about to happen right now as this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th starting to heat up. But out front, it is Bobby Fischer.
White flag for the rest of that pack. It's like a half lap in and behind Fischer. That's how far out in front your leader is Baloo tapping the back of Beckel to get around. Right as we see a checkered. So Fischer going to get the W. Brave 2, Smith takes 3 in what was a promising run for Beckel. Ends up with him, off the pace and a black flag being thrown as well. Let's go talk to your top 3 on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium with DT.
Lyndon, you put on a good show there. I want to specifically call back. You guys go 3 wide there. You and Bobby splitting a car. What was that like from your perspective?
I don't even know. It was really scary. I'm just glad we didn't, smack each other. I'm so happy with the 3rd out of this. It started getting really wet after that last caution, and I was getting kind of nervous. But we kept it in one piece, and we finished the race.
You knew how that car handled. We've seen it time and time again putting on a show. Who helps you get it out here?
I got to give a huge thanks to PCBD, JBR, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, Central Welding, Branding and Built Kitchen and Bath, John Bender, Dave Riddell, my mom, my dad, my grandparents. I've been at school the whole off season, and they've been working on the car without me. I'm so happy with how they got the car, and I'm glad we could be here today.
Lyndon Smith, 3rd place tonight in the 221. All right, Justin, we're not going to talk about what happened at the end there. We're going to flash back to the start of the race. You were bold, brave, so to speak, running that inside line, getting by everyone. What does it take to make those moves early in traffic?
Honestly, be patient at the start, see how it responds going into turn 1, get a feel for how much traction I had, and I honestly felt really comfortable, and I was there to just get a run on everybody coming out of corners, and it felt good. Almost had it. Had a great race, huge lead in the yellow, and I had nothing for those guys that were coming up on me, but it was a great race. I had a lot of fun. Couldn't be happier.
Put on a great show tonight. Who helped you do that?
J2 Racing, Central Welding, Pace Engineering, Craig Rhodes Race Shop, Eating Gate Farm, my family, my dad, my mom, my brother for coming on to help, and everyone else has helped me. Thank you.
Driver of the J21, Justin Brave, 2nd place tonight. Bobby, I watched you many a time in Hornets chasing to get up front. You step into a mini stock, and it was your ride. What is it like switching from that Hornet here into the mini and getting the win?
It's really different. I've got a great team that helped me build a great car, and it's awesome. I can't be happier today to come out here and not only do well, but win.
Behind every great car, these race winners, is a great team. Who's behind you?
I had to make a cheat sheet because I knew if I got up here, I'd forget everybody. So I want to put a special shout out to Reardon Racing. We spent months every day building this car, and special thanks to him. It's awesome. Tire Pros, thank you, getting me started. Out of the blue, it's helping a guy with just get started in this. It's amazing. Thank you. Gary Fisher Construction, my brother, he helped me. Kay's Crochet, Full Throttle Graphics, Royce Tanner, Trent Gillespie, Brad Gruhl, and my daughter Scarlett. Thank everybody that helped me get here. It's amazing.
Your race winner in the BECU Mini Stocks, the 81, is Bobby Fischer.
You are tuned in to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. I am Caleb Hart. Main events continue here on the program, and we go right into more Superstock Figure 8 racing. Of course, the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8s Our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Your lineup for the figure eights looks like this. Your pole sitter for this one is Chris Southard, the All-Solved Plumbing number 76S, and Jessica Wilkinson, the Pilchuck Heating and Air Conditioning JE55.
Then we got the 11 of Blaine Manning, sponsored by Be Happy Carpet Cleaning, and the 63 Robert Big Bird Weldon, sponsored by All Ply Roofing LLC.
Third row is Guy Litz, the Protocol Plumbing number 88. Jeff Talbert next to him, the 72, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating.
And then we got the rookie, the 45 of Chevy Vincent, sponsored by Homegrown Hair Studio, and his father, the 43, Sheridan Vincent, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment.
Row number 5 is a good one. Quentin Borison back in the Mary's Towing 5 car. He's out of Aberdeen. And next to him, it is the BECU number 67 of Mackenzie Dietz.
And the final 3 cars, the 8 of Jacob Funk, and then the 17X of Rick Yargis, sponsored by McCarthy General Contractor, and the 36 Bill Fleischecker, sponsored by Papa's Bar in Monroe, and we are green.
Good mix of veterans, some new faces here in the lineup. Should be a fun year in the Superstock figure eights is Jessica Wilkinson, just like she did in the heat race. Gonna lead him out of the corner. And she is your early leader until she loops it around and the commentator's curse gets her.
Oh, yeah, but luckily no one got into her. And the 76 of Chris Southard taking the lead. Great to see him back. Last year's 60 Minutes of Fear, he destroyed that car in the intersection. So great to see him spend all offseason getting it fixed, and he is leading this race.
We should mention part of the reason I think that you saw Jess get around is that weather has picked up just a hair out there. So it is starting to get a little more moist, and that's going to be fun for these drivers to try to navigate.
Yeah, this is some of the worst track conditions you'll ever race on. When the track has been dry and kind of warm, and then the rain starts to hit it, the oils that are already up on the track are on the, so technically you got oil and water mixed together. It's awful.
Apparently oil and water don't mix.
I guess. I
guess
guess so.
Side note, Blaine Manning now in the 11 car looking for the lead on Southard as he tries to go upstairs coming around the left-hand corner. Did you see that Weldon's got his windshield wiper mounted upside down? It's wiping from it's mounted at the top, not the bottom.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that, and I
Right?
believe Chris Southard, oh, no, that Chris Southard has a GoPro up there. I thought that was maybe a wiper.
Hey, effective for recording the race. Big thanks to Brandy Hood Promotions for hooking us up with the GoPros. Not so great at keeping the windshield dry.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they're all struggling. You don't want to get into anyone, because if you spin them out, you'll obviously get the black flag.
Yep.
Talbert getting really close to the 63 of Robert Big Bird Weldon, and they're all going to be scrambling for position as they're going to put the 55 of Jessica Wilkinson down a lap. And we got some traffic in the intersection.
Yeah, Jacob Funk is back there, and things are going to get awfully dangerous. This slower car is going to make things really fun. As Manning gets around, Big Bird follows him. Everybody manages to avoid somehow. They do. Now, can Manning get it fired back up is the question, as we're 5 laps into this, and right now we're still green. We're going to get a peek as they come through. And no,
yellow.
We're done. So Manning ends up around. We'll get a couple of extra looks at it from our awesome Home Track Heroes crew, and hear from the windshield of Blaine, as you can see the sprinkles down all over it.
Great job driving by everyone else for not getting into the rest of them, as it looks like, I think they might have, so it looked like the 11 might have just lost it, and then unfortunately Robert got collected into that.
That'll happen. Race and deal, chain reaction, as you can see some of the wet on the Sheridan Vincent windshield.
Well, maybe from that point of view, maybe the 72 of Talbert got into the back. Yeah, I think a little loose, and then touched him again.
Even then, so we've talked about it ad nauseum, but figure eight racing is physical here at Evergreen Speedway. We've got a very short, tight, technical course, so a little bit of bumping is going to happen. You throw that in with wet weather, and this could be a recipe for chaos.
Oh, yeah, and I think we're going to see more of it as we get going.
So they'll stack up Delaware style 2x2 in behind us. Southard here for the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 main event. We are green once again off the corner, and now it is Talbert and Sheridan there. Guy Litz and Quentin Borison say, knock, knock.
Well, it looked like I think I saw Guy Litz get into the Uke tire and broke something, because he went straight in there. And we're going to go yellow again. We got the 8 of Jacob Funk going around.
Yeah, the worst of it is the guy who was running almost dead last on the field for Jacob.
Yeah. And I see Jessica out there as well. So let's see what happens here.
Okay, back of the field. We're watching the shenanigans. We know what happens up front.
Wow.
And around they go. There's Jess hanging out by the Uke tires, and there is Funk facing the wrong direction. So
whole bunch of drama all throughout the whole field. Nowhere to go. That's figure eight racing right there.
Let's stack them back up and do it again in tight quarters. Why not? Another try getting this one restarted for Southard. Now Vincent, and tucked in there as well is Talbert's 72 car. So you're going to get in-car cameras from Dietz and Boris and a couple of veterans. Yargis, a move up from the bump to pass ranks, going to run Superstock figure eights this year. Put a lot of work to get that car up and ready. He was having some clutch trouble earlier in the day, but glad they got it fixed and get the main event going.
Yeah, great to see him back out. But on that restart, the 72 of Talbert and the 43 of Vincent got into each other, and Vincent losing many positions, and now they're going to chase down the 76 of Chris Southard. This is probably one of the best runs I've ever seen that Chris Southard has ever driven.
It's so far so good for Southard, but a long race to go, and he's got one of the better guys in the division, one of the now kind of established veterans. Talbert's been doing this for a hot minute or two. Let's see what he can do with Southard out in front. Southard, Talbert, and there is the younger Vincent. Chevy is up into third.
That's a fantastic run for his first ever figure eight race, so what a great job driving by him, as he looks like maybe moving into second.
Morrison sitting there in fourth after getting punted into oblivion on the previous run through. It was a good caution flag for him, because there he is. He's going to take over third. Here's Talbert making the move to the outside, coming in to the sequence of right-hand corners, and he's got the spot.
Yeah, he'll grab the lead. That is our second lead change of this race. Here comes the one-arm bandit, Quentin Borison. I can't remember how many championships. I think it's for sure 5 in this division.
5 for the 5 car.
Yeah, what a good number. And then we got Mackenzie Dietz, last year's figure eight nationals winner, cracking into the top 3 and looking to maybe take the top spot.
You know, considering everything that happened with that car in the offseason, just the fact that they made opening day unto its own is a story. If you didn't catch it, that car was stolen. Truck, trailer, and race car, everything in it was missing for a long time before it got recovered. Unfortunately, everything that got yoinked off the race car, they, according to the car owners, spent about as much money in rebuilding the car as they did to initially build it.
Yeah, I believe when they got it, the body was on. I think they were missing the motor and some electrical pieces. But back up front, the top 3 starting to close in on each other, putting Jessica Wilkinson down another lap. And I'm starting to see a little bit of traffic in the intersection as well. 11 laps into this, so it's generally when we start seeing more cars spread out.
And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. It's a decent-sized field of varying skill levels as well. So you're going to see some drivers familiar with the intersection, and you're going to see some guys like Yargis who are taking it on for the first time going, uh-oh.
Yeah, but someone like Yargis is used to a hit like that. He came from the bump to pass division and doing a great job making it through the intersection. So getting hit won't be new to him if he does get hit. However, I don't think he's done figure eight racing before, so it does take some skill to try to go work your way through the intersection. And that battle for first is starting to heat up.
The Crash fans out there are going, come on, hit. The rest of us are going, race cars are expensive and hits hurt. Don't do it. It is Talbert trying to hold off Boris, and Dietz with a run to the inside of Quentin, who had thought about swinging to the outside. Look out, intersection going to come into play here as Quentin gets back to the bottom and gets back around Mackenzie, but she almost had second for him before the intersection happened.
That was definitely really close. Blaine Manning making another charge to the intersection. Now we got the 2 Sheridan Vincent and Chevy Vincent in this mix as well. We got ourselves a 5-car battle for the lead.
Now, Chevy, I know you can't hear me in the cockpit while we're doing this. I'm just saying, take the old man out. It's all right.
Do it.
Ask for forgiveness later. Glory lasts forever.
Yeah.
As they get through, there's Jacob Funk in the 8-car going a lap down. You know, it's not often that we see Borison get in behind a guy and have to be in behind him for a while, but Talbert's done a really solid job of keeping Quentin in bay here so far.
Yeah, Talbert's definitely a threat for Quentin Borison. He is struggling to get by Talbert, and at this point, it's going to be very, very difficult. You might have to use your bumper to get around him.
Well, we're over halfway, and again, there is a little bit of wetness in the air out there that could still play a factor here in this main event. Borison trying to find his way around Talbert, and Talbert's just doing the right job of keeping that car wide and fast. And outside of a car going through the intersection is not where you want to be.
Yeah, and then, we got the 5-car getting a bobble, and now Mackenzie Dietz will grab second. It looked like it looks like the track is starting to dry a little bit, and unfortunately Borison got into a little bit of the wetness of the racetrack and lost that position, and Mackenzie Dietz doing a great job holding on to second.
That's going to be just the right amount of irritating as you've got a slower, I think that's Yargis that's kind of stalled up there at the top of the left-hand turn. But to go from a dry to a wet to a dry, you almost want the consistency of one or the other, but not both.
Oh, yeah. At this point, I want to start pouring down rain if I was in this race.
Well, with 11 to go, Jeff Talbert just wants it to end as Fleischhacker back there. I couldn't spot the other car that was through that intersection, but it was scary, boys and girls. as now it is Talbert and Dietz duking it out up front, and the intersection is hot.
It is definitely picking up in the traffic, as now we got the 67 of Dietz closing in on the 72 of Talbert. And Talbert, probably the one that's most stressed on this racetrack, having to deal with cars behind. And now Dietz looking to the outside. This is getting good.
As Borison is now closed back in, Quentin making the bid for second as he's to the one side of McKenzie coming through the intersection. They all avoid Weldon as they're making the left-hand turn once again. 8 to go. Dietz going to get back by Quentin as we've got Jacob Funk hanging out right down there as the leaders drove right by.
Yeah, we're still green. But what a lot to go through. You're trying to battle for position and trying to navigate through intersection traffic. So they're definitely busy up front right there.
Talbert's just looking to guide this thing home and crack open an ice cold Busch Light. Busch Beer, the official beer of NASCAR and Evergreen Speedway. Busch Beer, the sound of refreshment. Crisp and cold as Mountain Stream. Keep your fridge happy by stocking it with Busch and Busch Light. Busch.
Oh my, 7 laps to go. Make it 6 this time by. And this is going to be a close one. Jeff Talbert hanging on for dear life. Mackenzie Dietz, if not a little bit faster, but for sure equal speed with Talbert.
Well, and now slower traffic in front of Talbert. Going to play a factor here. Intersection clean, at least that time as they were getting through. And don't discount Borison hanging out, looking for a shot. Now, there's the opportunity. Talbert has gotten alongside Yargis, but Yargis has got enough speed to beat him into the corner and on the bottom. Talbert's going to have to reassess and try another plan. And there's Dietz trying to sneak inside of Talbert. This is going to pin her to the outside, though, coming to the left-hand turn. And Borison right there to be a factor.
Yeah, all 3 cars together. And Yargis is definitely going to be a factor in who's going to win this race, as he will not move. Find the 72 of Talbert. You might have to use your bumper to get the lap car out of the way. And he tries to, but the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz right there almost had the lead.
Now, let's see if she can use Rick as like a basketball-style pick here. Can't do it through that turn. Can she do it coming off? Yargis again, car just fast enough to really be a problem for these guys and girls. Now to the inside, big move. Dietz, can she get Yargis at the same time? She can. There's the pass.
Your new leader, and the 72 of Talbert throws it in, almost loses it, and 2 laps to go for Mackenzie Dietz.
So much of figure 8 racing is that sequencing of slower cars and when you can get where, and it all broke right for the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz. Mackenzie now opening up the advantage. There is a car back there for her to deal with in the intersection, but this time by, she's only got one more time around to go.
A white flag for Mackenzie Dietz, looking to make it her 2nd win in her career for this division. And she's got a little bit of lap traffic to go through, and one final time through the intersection.
One more time, Jacob Funk, slower car right in front. Gonna play a factor. Talbert uses the front bumper, but not enough of it. Dietz gets the win here on our 2nd opening night. 2nd to Talbert, 3rd to Sheridan Vincent. Let's go talk to him down on the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium. Sheridan Vincent, wow, what an event that was. That looked like chaos all over the racetrack. What did you see from your perspective?
Not much. There's a lot of, my window was fogged up, so I couldn't see much. But it was getting a little slick, but you're still able to put some power down, and it's a new car to me, so I'll take 3rd.
New car for you. Who all helped you get it together, your crew and your sponsors?
Let's see. Crew, first off, my wife, for letting us do this. Rick Jones Jr. has actually been a big help on it. Unfortunately, he broke an oil filter, but Tyler, Savannah, John, my whole family that came out. My son, Chevy, has been a big help on it, and he's driving my old car, and he did pretty well besides a flat tire, but it's fun.
Heck of a debut for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sheridan Vincent takes 3rd tonight. Well, Jeff, you controlled a huge portion of that race. Things don't break well for you late. Tell me about it.
I mean, got some cars that were, behind that got in the way a little bit. Mackenzie made a heck of a move diving inside, and I tried going, and she got the better. So
that'll happen sometimes in this deal, won't it?
Yeah, yes, it will.
I know a lot of this is a lot of your own hard work. Do you want to give any shout-outs to any sponsors or crew guys?
I got to obviously thank my family, Harrison and Jim and Jessica, all the Wilkinsons. I mean, they've done everything that I can ask for me. I got to thank Stephanie's Hope, Pilchuck Heating, And once again, just say hi to Grandma.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Jeff Talbert, second place tonight. Mackenzie, tears in your eyes?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because this is just the beginning of the season and race number 1, and this is the first race that I've had my Uncle Ricky in my ear and by my side, and he's just been going through so much. And so just having him with me and my team and just everybody supporting this is a very special win. I was willing to accept third, but I wasn't willing to give up and not try for first.
Lap traffic played a huge role in this for a lot of people. For you at the end as well in making that pass, what did you see?
Well, I just saw him kind of go out to McDonald's for a minute, and I was just like, well, let me try and duck in and see if the weather would allow me and the car would hold, and it did, and we were able to make the move. So love racing with those guys, and this was pretty freaking amazing.
You said it, special win for you and the family and everybody who helped get Scarlett together this year.
There's so many, and I know I'm going to forget, I'm sorry, but BECU, 2 girls and a leaf, Buzzin', Waltz Demo and Excavating, Reppin' Welding and Rail, my fiance, sorry babe. He does all the welding work and the bumpers on my car and for a lot of others too, and Ghostum Cams. Thank you, John, for making this car a rocket.
Ladies and gentlemen, get loud, your winner, Mackenzie Dietz. We are steamrolling through another episode here of Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Appreciate you guys letting us entertain you tonight. I'm Caleb Hart. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. Of course, our program brought to you by the fine folks at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. These are the PCBD Hornets. They're going 30 times around on the road course, and they're doing it in the wet. Chad, who we got out on the racetrack?
So we got the 7 car on the pole, Archie Lomax, sponsored by Backmere Auto Salvage, and the 101 Brian McNamara, sponsored by True Line Wheel and Frame out of Seattle.
Second row's Tammy White, the 23. Next to her, Brad Ferris from Snohomish, the Urban Renovation, number 13.
And the 32 of Preston Brent, sponsored by North County Towing, and the 022 of Michael Turner.
Fourth row, Annika Duncan, 163, sponsored by Misfit Motorsports. Next to Annika, it's the 17S of Gino Solomon, sponsored by Valley Asphalt.
Then we got the 19 of Scarlett Fisher, and on the outside, the 43 Damon Claiborne, sponsored by Abendroth Equine Development.
Row behind them, Dustin Lytle, the 21L, and Lucas House and Flux, sponsored by Cornerstone Homes.
And then we got the 77 of Christian Miller, sponsored by Turbo Espresso, and the 00 of Dan Miller, sponsored by Exterior Wall Systems.
Then the 20 car, Riley Riddell, the DL Enterprises Machine, and the 717 of Diesel Snyder, sponsored by Valley Asphalt.
And then we got the 33 of Ryan Hassenflock, sponsored by Cornerstone Homes, and in a borrowed car, Zach Bristol, our champion from last year's, sponsored by Hibbs Automotive.
Row behind them is Matt Snyder, Handy in the Valley, sponsors the 15. Tegan Bjornson from Misfit Motorsports in the 59.
The 39Z of Andrew Zachary, and the 86 Dave Dixon, sponsored by Butch, Steve, and Zach.
Final 4 as the green flag comes out. Donna Gillespie's the 024, Bobby Hauk, the 08, sponsored by Snow Valley Farms. Hunter Jenkins, the 85, sponsored by Elite Construction Contractors. And the Snoqualmie Casino sponsored 45 of Trinity Reppin.
So we got the 101 of Brian McNamara in the safest seat in the house as of this point. Driving front wheel drive in the rain can be a little, I would say, a little sketchy in some places of this racetrack. You have no idea if the front of the car is going to stick or not, especially on the first lap.
Well, so far, so good. As you get a number of drivers moving their way forward, it's already Gino Solomon who is coming big time forward on this field. Now, there's a couple of things playing a factor here. Solomon really good on week number 1, ends up with a podium finish. But number 2, few guys as good in the wet weather as Solomon and his family, the 2 Snyders.
Most definitely, and Solomon looking to grab the lead, closing in quick on Brian McNamara, as this is a big main event for him. 30 laps. Generally, I believe we run them 25. They did not have a B main tonight, so they added 5 more laps to their main event.
And the field is big, too.
Yeah, 26 cars.
Yeah, a lot of entries out and on the racetrack. And there is Solomon with a look underneath McNamara down the back straightaway as your flagger already
Yeah.
pointing to cars, cattywampus and all over the place. And in fact,
We'll go yellow.
we will. The 45 of Reppin is spun out in the inside of the fourth corner right as your leader's
Ooh,
coming in.
Yeah, that could have been a bad moment right there.
They'll check up and we'll check out the replay from the in-car camera. And just like that, slip sliding around, as you can see the windshield wiper up and going on Trinity.
Yeah, definitely windshield wiper doing its job, and the best part, kept it off the wall.
That's right. So car will be able to restart, refire from the inside of turn number 4. Again, PRCBD, the new sponsor of the Hornet division, and their main event still 20-plus laps ready to go. Let's restack them, re-rack them, and send them back out. They'll go 2 by 2 here on the road course with 2 down and 28 left.
Sweet. Double foul restarts for this class here. Newer thing, probably in the last couple of years, they used to do single file as McNamara. Yeah, single file with sometimes 30 cars. So,
That's a long train around the raceway.
It definitely was.
Your leader starts, and he's at the back of the pack, just like that.
Yep. And we are off and running again, as this class is definitely known for 3-4 wide, but Gene Solomon will grab the lead.
Nice work by Gino as he makes his way through. Okay, of course, we mentioned PRCBD. Swing by PRCBD in Arlington for all your CBD questions or needs for people, pets, and more. Go to PRCBD.com. Use the promo code RACE. Solomon jetting out to the lead. That is Claiborne in the 43 car, the Havoline-looking car, the former Bristol machine.
As it looks like we got a battle for second there. Preston Brandt, Brian McNamara. Brandt will take the second place position, as they're still all trying to decide behind them where to run. A lot of battles going on this racetrack. We got Dan Miller going around.
Yeehaw!
He'll keep on going.
Man, keeps on trucking on through. That was sketchy for a second. You see him 3 wide all over the place in the back of the field.
He found some success last year, won one of the last races of the year, and I believe picked up an Enduro win this winter. So coming off a good offseason for him, as they're still 3-4 wide all over the place.
Yeah, he was 2 in a row up until last weekend when he was knocking on the door of the podium, but
nice.
Didn't quite get there after the end of it. Out front, that's for second. If I told you that Preston Brandt was the Andre the Giant of the Hornet division, would you know what I'm referencing?
I wouldn't at this point.
Kid's huge.
Is he?
He's
Okay.
like 6'6" stuffing into a Hornet.
So kind of like why we call Doug Delfeld the Grizz.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a tall, he could be a basketball player at this point in time, but he's right now trying to stretch his long legs over McNamara and Diesel Snyder. That is Solomon's grandson, by the way. So Gino grandpa, Diesel grandson, Matt dad.
So Hornet racing is definitely a family affair for this family here.
Amongst others, you've got the House and Flux out there. You've got the Millers out there. Unfortunately, Trinity Reppin spun out in about the same spot, and the yellow flag out. Let's get another look as corner number 4 has been befuddling to Trinity here early.
Yeah, we'll go around almost looks exactly the same from the first time.
If you had just taken the footage from the first GoPro and
we would
stuck
have no
it in there,
idea.
I would have no clue. As there she goes in and to a stop. And once again, that gives us a chance to reset here in the booth, breathe for another second. Big difference now. Gino Solomon is the guy controlling the pace coming out of the corner. He'll have your race lead when we go back to action.
And that is definitely something Gino Solomon did not want to see. He was gone, but it looked like he picked the outside groove over the inside, because we got Preston Brandt starting on the inside front row.
Well,
this division, you can pick inside or outside if you are the leader.
And Solomon used the outside the last time to his advantage. You saw how quickly he got into that, into the intersection, into the weight exchange portion where you turn left, and then you have that real subtle right, and then your hairpin left. That's really the place in this course where the drivers who keep the most speed up gain the most advantage. It's going to work for him again as he gets ahead.
Yeah, that was a very great move on the outside. Technically, he is in that second starting spot, but he does have to set the pace. He is the race leader, as we got Snyder looking to the inside for second.
Oh, boy. All right, so now grandpa and grandson are 1 and 2 in this, with Brandt sitting in the third spot. You got in cars from Diesel Snyder, who just made that move in the bottom right corner. Brian McNamara, the bottom left corner, and Scarlett Fisher. As you get a look at it all over, and boy, look at that haze. Look at that wet that's coming down at this point in time. You can see it in the reflection of the lights and even starting to puddle on the racetrack in spots.
Yep, when it starts puddling on the racetrack and you're right behind somebody, it is almost impossible to see him, as we see our current points leader Zach Bristol in a borrowed car. His transmission broke in practice. I think it was lap 1 in practice.
Oh, wow.
So he is driving a borrowed car, and he is slowly working his way up through the field. But Diesel Snyder coming in quick to Gino Solomon.
What is it that John Zaretsky says? Can't hurt borrowed equipment?
Yes.
Well, Zach Bristol might put that to the test.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's a lot of field to come up through. So Grandpa and Grandkid looking to make Thanksgiving dinner awkward here as they roll down the back straightaway. The 17 to the 717, and boy, they are streaking away from the rest of this field as some of your, quote, faster drivers not making as big a progress as they usually do within the first field.
Yeah, they are not moving. They do have quite a bit of laps to go. We'll have 22 this time by, but still, there's no guarantee of another caution.
No.
So you gotta move as fast as you can. This was a full invert, so what, 26 car invert? That's
Oof.
huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys to make your way up and through as you get a look at the battle for third. There's Claiborne, by the way, and again, the old Howling scheme. I swear that's a 43 on there somehow.
There's somewhere, yeah, there's some type of 43. Now we got the 03 of Hassenfluck trying to get around Preston Brandt. I believe that is for the final podium spot.
A couple of younger drivers right now taking a war for third, but still very early in this as we've got almost 2/3 of the race and change left to go. As Claiborne sits in the 5th spot, and he rolls in on that battle. He's going to look down low on Hassenfluck.
Has a really good corner coming out of the figure 8 track. Can't quite keep up with the two youngsters as, yep, there is a 43. I guess I can't see it
now, yeah. Well, you know, with the wet weather and semi-reflective numbers on that thing, I might have to sponsor him some duct tape or something. That'll make it easier.
Yeah. We'll sponsor Hassenfluck some duct tape, too, or just get him some new numbers.
The 3 is needing some help on that in some forms or fashion. Meanwhile, back in the field, no, that's not back in the field. That's your leader getting into lap traffic here. So Gino Solomon, and you can see the spray coming off the right front as he takes that big sweeping corner. And Diesel Snyder are now going to start lapping cars. So Solomon and Snyder up to the back of Donna Gillespie. They'll swing wide off the corner and look for opportunity and start putting drivers lap down as Bjornsson next up on the docket.
Yep, it looks like that is the, yep, Bjornsson, and then the 23 of Tammy
White.
Tammy White. I almost said Tammy Wynette, not the country singer.
I would have forgiven you. Snyder almost drove all the way off the racetrack there. Comes back. You see Solomon. Solomon gets a lot of speed coming off the top and trying to cut his way through. But, boy, they're mired in heavy traffic. There's going to be a lot of opportunities here for Diesel Snyder to try to take top spot away from Gino. But Gino, good through the hairpin. We'll see how he does going into turn 3 this time.
So far, the lap cars have been on their best behavior, so we'll see how that works out. And a great battle still shaping up 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And it looks like Zach Bristol starting from the back of the pack in that borrowed car, looking to creep into the top 5.
Claiborne looking inside on Brandt for position number 3. And it's strange, but they're nearly, I'm going to say, a third of the racetrack back from your top 2. That's how far your top 2 are gone from these guys. Next time we flash forward on the field to get a look at them, we'll get you a better idea. But Brandt 3rd, the black and red 32. Claiborne 4th in the 43. Hassenfluck and Bristol 5 and 6 trying to get closer to your lead pack. But right now the battle for 3rd, it is on down the backstretch.
Yeah, Claiborne has a really good corner, a good starting of the corner, except for that time he sails her into turn number 3, and it sticks. That is a lot of confidence in that car, because I personally, you know, that when you're racing in these types of conditions, you want to obviously try to see if it'll stick, but I would be a little nervous if I was the 43 at Claiborne, as it worked out for him. They're starting to get into a whole bunch of traffic, trying to make it 3 wide with Snyder.
Yeah, they're a half track ahead of 3rd, 4th, and 5th at this point in time, at about the halfway point of this race. And there goes Diesel through. I don't think they gave him credit for leading the lap. It was still Gino. Gino back to the inside. No, Diesel got it for just a lap. Now to the inside goes Solomon trying to get her back. And again, cars in front of them, cars to the left of me, cars to the right. Oh my. As they make their way back into the turn, Gino retakes the lead. Diesel will follow in behind him.
Yeah, this is definitely a very cool battle. Now, this division, you don't have radios.
No.
So none of these drivers, and they don't use the blue flag in this division, so they don't know that they're getting lapped.
No, those are just another race car they're in and around trying to defend. As you see Solomon to the outside, really getting strung out into the 3rd groove this time. And here's Snyder with a chance and a lot of momentum to try to run him down the back straightaway in the black and pink 717.
Yeah, Gino definitely uses lap cars to advantage, as I believe he has a couple cars now in between them. he will put the, I believe that is the 7 car of Archie Lomax going down a lap, and the 85-100 Jenkins now fighting in front of Diesel Snyder, and they make contact, and they're 4 wide.
Oh boy, way wide around the corner as they're trying to shuffle Christian Miller's 77 backwards and Dan Dixon's 86 all at the same time. Where do you go if you're Diesel Snyder? Here's the answer. Just punch a hole around the outside because the path clears, and he's going to get 2 for 1 coming off this turn.
Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate for Diesel Snyder, but very fortunate for Gino Solomon as he has gained a huge lead. And those 2 drivers, Gino and Diesel, probably, since like I said, they don't run radios, and the only point of reference is the scoreboard.
Yep.
So they might think that the 4th, 5th, and 6th might be right behind them if they don't have mirrors. So
I
keep
mean,
going.
Yeah, right. Pedal down, hammer through, see how far you can get as you're looking at 4 lapped cars at this point in time. It's kind of hard to lose track because your leader is starting to pick off a ton of traffic and put a lot of this field a lap down with 11 to go. Leader in second crossed about 3-4 seconds ago, and we're waiting for, again, the Halvoline looking car that still hadn't crossed the line. They're over half a track now ahead of those
yeah,
guys.
that's a good 6 or 7 seconds in between them as we're riding along with Diesel Snyder. Look at that steering wheel, very, very smooth. You got to be smooth in this, in particular with this type of car, but also in this type of situation, and we also need to get him some gloves too.
We do need to get him some gloves. They go really well on that Joe's Racing Products lightweight steering wheel.
Yes.
As windshield wipers continue to blare, and you can see with all the lights, the glare, the rain itself coming down, visibility not easy in these race cars, much less dealing with fog that hits the windshield and your visor.
Oh, the fog is terrible, absolutely terrible, but he is catching up to our leader once again. He is looking to the outside. They're 3 wide.
Putting another couple of cars laps down, is now bouncing off the back of the 13 of Fairs. They'll get around him, they'll lap Rudell. Every time Snyder gets close, Solomon makes a big move in traffic to get himself just a couple more spots of whoo out there.
Yeah, and that's probably been about the 4th or 5th time he's gone 3 wide with lap cars. Gino Solomon definitely uses lap cars to his advantage. And we'll watch and see. At this point, Snyder, I believe, is the faster car. But Gino can navigate traffic way better than Snyder. And that's just seat time. That takes more seat time.
Hey, catching him is one thing. Passing him is a whole other story. I'm trying to look back in the field about where he is lapping cars right now. That's McNamara right ahead of him in 9th that they're rolling in on.
Yep, so we're going into the top 10 of lapping cars. And they may be lap cars, but they're also still fighting for positions amongst themselves.
Oh, absolutely. You're racing for all-important season points. Even if you're a lap down, 7th place is 7th place.
Oh, yeah.
And that could be the point difference that makes up your championship. In fact, our championships in this class tend to come down to the last weekend, so they end up being pretty tight.
When you have a division with a huge amount of cars every week, I mean, this is probably the smallest car count we've had in the Hornet division probably in a couple years, but still 26 cars.
Yeah.
That is a huge field of cars.
Could have had a B main.
Oh, yeah. Realistically, we probably would have had a B main. But so if you finish last, you're only getting 6 or 7 points.
Yep.
And you want to, every point per position, 2 points. So you want to, if you're in it for points racing, it's all or nothing.
Yep. Big picture. Every spot matters every time you hit the racetrack, no matter what. As there's Diesel Snyder in second. Coming up on Gillespie, who is already down a lap. Your leader up ahead of him by about 5-6 car lengths, the form of the 17S of Gino Solomon. And again, that is grandpa and grandson, 1 and 2. And 3rd place is a really, really long ways back at this point. As you continue to look around, oh, Snyder, that was a big boo-boo. That's going to cost him a lot of spots.
That will cost him a whole bunch of track time. And then when we go all the way back to the 43 Damon Claiborne, I would say now he's about 3/4 of a lap behind those 2.
That's about right, although he still has some fast cars that are tucked in behind him. Andrew Zachary in the 39 car, that's the car with the big old batons flying off the back of it, like the bump-to-pass batons. He's 4th.
And he's doing a fantastic job, I believe, moving up from the Youth Hornet division last year and running in 4th with the adults, so that's a pretty good job.
Rumor has it that 43 of Claiborne is a Ford Focus, which makes perfect sense in the wet weather. Those things only have 5.5 horsepower to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's really no problem getting the horsepower down to the racetrack.
Yeah. In the rain, you tend to see that, like in the street stocks, the crate motors tend to do a little bit better. Obviously, you can win in a 400, but anyway. Back up front, or back into third, is the 43 Damon Claiborne. Got a lot of lap traffic to deal with, and Andrew Zachary now to deal with the next lap or two, but laps are starting to wind down.
Yep, so third and fourth is who we're seeing right there, and boy, the lead cars are probably coming into turn 3 as we speak, I would imagine. Down to 3 to go, moving closer to 2 to go. As you're watching, Zachary's got a chance. Claiborne had to get frisky with the front bumper. Zachary to the inside, trying to make the move. That's Annika Duncan's 163 ahead of him, who is also slower traffic. As with just a couple of laps left coming to the line, the battle for third is on.
Yeah, 3 wide, and they're going to split through Annika Duncan. No contact. That's a really good job driving. And look at Damon Claiborne. Oh, a little loose there going into the corner. 2 laps to go.
And kudos to all these drivers. You know, a couple of yellows out of circumstance, those will happen. But we've had a remarkably clean race for this big field of these challenging conditions.
Very clean.
Everybody doing a great job out there. As your leader is taking the white flag with 1 to go. We're watching third and fourth. We're going to be a while. Yep, going to be a while.
The battle on the track is clearly for third and fourth.
Yes.
As they will now finally take the white flag.
That's right. I wonder if we actually get an unofficial clock on him. Here is for the win. And Gino Solomon going to get the job done. He'll get the victory. And just wait for it here. As we're watching third and fourth, we will go down to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium and talk to Gino and Diesel, who have both closed. And coming to the line, unofficially, it is going to be Claiborne getting there ahead of Zachary, 23 seconds behind your lead 2, as we'll go talk to your winning 3 on the podium.
Damon, an amazing performance behind the wheel of that new car. How's it feeling?
It was great. The Focus is historically pretty good in the rain, so we were pretty excited to see when it started raining because it was not doing very good in the dry today. So.
And I know a lot of people help you get out here. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my wife and her business, Abendroth Equine Developing the Horse and Rider. Brandy Hood Promotions, she does all my video, all my vinyl. She's great. And congrats to these two. 1, 2, they deserved it. They're awesome in the rain. It's about time.
Driver the number 43, third place tonight, Damon Claiborne. Diesel, it's always something special when you're chasing a family member. What was that like?
Oh, that was so much fun, and I almost had you, old man.
It's a family affair out here. It's always tough. Who helped you put this together?
Oh, I gotta thank Valley Asphalt, Handy in the Valley, Falls Compound Pharmacy, Herring, Snow Falls Credit Union, North Bend Chevrolet, bus drivers, SC, and all these fans for coming out on this wet day.
Driver of the 717, Diesel Snyder. Gino, absolutely amazing race. You took the lead early and you did not let go. How did it look in the rearview mirror seeing here comes your grandson?
Well, I saw my grandson behind me and I know he wanted to get me. I just didn't want to make a mistake. So that was the main thing, is just drive smart. So
neither the driver nor the car slipped up there. Who would you like to thank for putting that thing together?
Same one, Valley Asphalt, Handy in the Valley, Falls Compounding Pharmacy, Herring, Snow Falls Credit Union, North Bend Chevrolet, the bus drivers and SC, and I want to give a special thanks to the pit crew of Snyder Racing. They help with everything. And another special thanks to Chuck Pierce that allows me to use his shop to keep that bucket of bolts going. So, yeah!
Driver of the 17S, give it up for Gino Solomon.
Well, it's Sunday night. You know what that means. More Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11. We keep steamrolling through the show. INX Legends are up next. Chad Fitzpatrick and Caleb Hart with you. And our program today brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Legends in the rain, usually a, recipe for fun. See how it ends up here, Chad. Front row's Chase Jensen, the North Bend Chevrolet number 24. Jeff Mueller next to him, the 2M, sponsored by Premier Painting Company, LLC.
Second row inside the 37 of Mason Nelson, sponsored by TriMed Ambulance, and the 51Z John Zaretsky, sponsored by Mick Mullen Construction.
Row number 3 is Josh Vlock, the Burgess Construction Washington Deck Builder number 76C. Chris Thompson next to him, the Weather Right Roofing number 10.
Then we got the 13 of Jeremiah Johnson, sponsored by LB Motorsports, and 11C Chad Center, sponsored by Mazda of Everett.
Couple of youngsters in row number 5, Braden Wager, the Dirt Cheap Sewer number 30B. Next to him, Kaylee Decker, car number 68, sponsored by Lewis and Maine.
Then we got the 33 of Kyle Lang, sponsored by Phillips Law Firm, and the 27D of Dakota Grachella, sponsored by Weather Right Roofing.
Row behind them, it's Aaron Flood in car number 98. Next to him, Davis Jacobson driving car number 11.
The 55 of Bella Luce, and then the 20 of Damian Harris, sponsored by Flowmaster Gutters.
And the final row, it's Jaden Luce, the number 19 out of Issaquah. Samantha Schwartz next to him in the 40 car, sponsored by Sharp Transportation. Had a number of drivers here. Not everybody decided to come out and race. That is their prerogative. Some of these drivers do have a rain setup and rain tires. Some of them don't, and I wouldn't expect them to stick around too long, depending on how it goes as we are underway.
As we are green, and Chase Jensen making his first ever start in an INX Legend car, and he is leading the way with John Zaretsky right behind him, Jeff Mueller in third, and fourth Mason Nelson. Everybody looking clean going into turn number 3.
Important for you longtime viewers of the program. You know the 3 car driven by Jesse Jensen in the street stocks. That's his kid, Chase, the 24 car, first run in a Legend. They're going to park time this year. Not expected to see them all the time, as after lap number 1, there goes John Zaretsky making the big move to the inside, and that is the patented Zaretsky line in the wet weather, running right there.
Yep, right on the figure 8 track, darn near hitting the light pole, and he somehow makes it work. If you can do it, keep doing it at this point, but we got a good battle. Looks like shaping up for third, Jeff Miller and Mason Nelson. Everyone utilizing the high line as Chad Center moving up as well.
He hates being called Jay-Z. Sorry about that, John. I try not to, but old habits, they die extremely hard. So you watch them kind of tiptoe up and around the top. A lot of spray being kicked off by these cars. You know, we talk a lot about the Legends when they're on. Low to the ground, short wheelbase, light cars, a lot of power. They're naturally kind of twitchy is the word that we usually use. And here in the wet weather, that's got to be even harder.
Oh, yeah. I've driven this one of these cars before, but it was in the dry, but I could only imagine what they are going through right now. Essentially, just pretend you have an egg underneath your gas and brake pedal, and when you spin out, that means you broke the egg.
Yes, indeed. Center in the 11 car, 4-time track champion. First time he didn't get it was this last season when Gabe Sessler took the W, and he's running 4th right now behind Mueller. A good show, and Mason Nelson also running well.
Mason Nelson doing really well, but that last lap, Chad Center took his right front off the backstretch and put up some sparks. I wonder if that did a little bit of damage to his car. That is a very deep drop-off for especially a car like this, so that could definitely do some damage.
Now, new to the Legends this year, they introduced a new Willwood brake package for the fronts of these cars. So these drivers, a lot of them have made that switch over and changes. I know Center one of them, so getting used to your first race condition with the new brakes, and probably your first wet weather condition with the new brakes, got to be something.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely takes a finesse for what you're doing already, and then you add the rain to that. It's going to make it even more difficult. Hopefully, their next race they'll be in the dry conditions, so he'll actually see if the brakes are going to work or not. Gives a little love tap to Jeff Mueller, but give props to Chase Jensen, his first time ever, and he is still in 2nd place.
Yeah, give props to all these guys. You know, you saw a couple of them duck off onto the 5/8s and get out of here, but so far so good. If you had said we're going 6 laps and we wouldn't so much as see a car all the way sideways yet, I would have been shocked, but that is the case.
And Chad Center makes a good move, loses that momentum as he went down low. Mason Nelson able to pounce as Chase Jensen holding them both back. Equal distance between all 3 of them as Chad Center will now look to the inside of Chase Jensen, see if he can maybe make that John Zaretsky line work. Didn't quite go as aggressive as John Zaretsky normally would, but give 2nd to Chad Center.
Well, 2nd for now. Look at all that gap that Jensen just made back up. Although he backed that car way up getting into the corner. That might be strategy for him for how he comes around, because he's got a lot more speed coming through the apex and forward. So your leader is Zaretsky. Center with a little bit of room between himself and Jensen now in 3rd. And there is Nelson, Lang, and a whole host of others coming after the 24.
And now they're going to put down the 13 of Jeremiah Johnson. They're going to put him down a lap. He's going to stay down to the bottom, let all the lead lap cars go high, as they're also going to put the 20 of Damian Harris down a lap. But Chad Sinner almost lost it there. He ducked his right front tires off into turn number 3, able to hang on. That was definitely a very close call for him. And Chase Jensen now starting to close in on Chad Sinner once again.
Sinner leaning on that old school dirt track experience that he has, where you always drive right on the edge of out of control. Figured it out, caught her back up. There's a long ways between Zaretsky and Sinner right now. And Zaretsky's got to be thinking, okay, I just want this to stay green. It's a tall task for it to do, unfortunately, with the wet out. But boy, look at that dominating lead. It's almost half a track.
Yeah, kind of like what we saw in the previous race in the Hornet division, as we got a battle for third between the two young guns, Chase Jensen and the 37 of Mason Nelson. I believe, don't quote me, I believe Chase Jensen's about 13 or 14 years old.
Yep, you're right in that range. A lot of youngsters in this class. It's a logical move up if you don't want to have your kid in a youth Hornet until age 14, and you see that with Jensen at his young age. Harris out there, 12 years old. So, yeah, a lot of young drivers in this field.
Yeah, definitely nice to see the youth join in the racing scenes.
You know, if you were betting on any of them, you could either bet on youth or you could bet on the veteran Zaretsky, who's got that huge lead right now. I should mention Angel Winds Casino Resort. They have sports betting. They can pick a winner, prove it at Angel Winds Casino Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle, exit 210 off I-5 in Arlington.
So we got top two right now, John Zaretsky and Chad Sinner. John Zaretsky with 3 NASCAR Superstock championships out here, and Chad Sinner with 3 INX Legends Series championships out here. 6 championships between the top two.
And yet, at the same time, Zaretsky hasn't been in victory lane here since he started his comeback.
I was going to say, I don't think we've ever seen John Zaretsky into victory lane with this Legend car.
Not at Evergreen Speedway. He picked one up, I want to say, over in Eastern Washington, maybe State Line last year at some point in time. But, yeah, not here at the place that he made his name, he made his legend. So we'll see if John can continue this on as we're approaching halfway and we're still clean and green. You get a look from the in-car of Kyle Lang, and boy, that GoPro is getting pummeled with the wet.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to look to the outside of Chase Jensen as they're going to go way out wide, and Kyle Lang will go to the inside. Going to get a little bit of momentum on both of them. Going to look to possibly pass 2 cars, but they fight hard on the outside. It's 2 by 2 as they go into turn number 3.
Lang was lucky. One of our recent days, he had a track rental, and it ended up being a wet weather day, so he ended up practicing in the wet and helping dial in his setup, so that did nothing but help him get better for a race just like this, although I can imagine it was quite pouring like the conditions are right now.
But I'm sorry, but that's a very smart thing to do. If you have a track rental and you know you're going to have to race in the rain, don't cancel the rental. No. Spend your whole time practicing to get your rain set up, because it's very rare that we in the Pacific Northwest don't have to race at least once in the rain.
At least through April and May. It's a threat the FDL. Now, granted, you're a late model driver who doesn't run in the rain, one of the sprint car divisions. Okay, yeah, that day, cancel the track rental. Pull it in for another day. But again, every other division, they go racing this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah. And I believe that is still a good battle. Oh, Kyle Lang going to miss the corner.
Ooh.
Will stay green.
And just like that, it can jump up and bite you. Now, good news, he's still rolling. He can get back onto the track with no damage. I mean, he's lost some spots. But again, we've had a lot of drivers pull off. We started close to 20. I think we're down to about 14. And now Lang is at the back of that 14 or so with your leader, John Zaretsky, in screen right there.
Yeah, he is definitely going to be in jeopardy of going down a lap. I mean, at this point, unless we have a caution, no one's going to catch John Zaretsky. He easily has a half a straightaway, maybe even half a track over Chad Sinner.
But again, the chances that this stays green, they're long. However, we've gone almost 2/3 of the way so far with it going. That's Grichala in the 27 and Jensen, third place, the youngster in the 24 with Nelson. A car length or 2 back from him in the 37 and fourth. Good battle between those two. Actually, good battle just in that top 5 in general. Chris Thompson getting involved now. That's the more powder blue number 10 working the low side of the racetrack.
Yeah, where'd he come from? He's all of a sudden up there as well. Kind of a sleeper going through the pack there as, yeah, Chase Jensen still hanging tough in that 3rd spot. And they're going to think about maybe going 3 wide as Nelson going to go up high. Jensen stuck in the water down below, makes it a little loose, and now we got Mason Nelson looking to grab that third place position.
You can see Nelson trying to get around him. Jensen might have gotten back to the throttle a little too aggressively. Back end almost stepped around on him, but he gathered it back. Now Thompson down low for fourth. They go wheel to wheel down the long back straightaway on our 3/8. Jensen now strung along up at the high groove. Thompson down low as they go to war for fourth.
That high groove is definitely working well for Chase Jensen. Now we got Braden Wager, who went into victory lane, I believe, a couple times last year.
And we got a car around it. It's Jensen.
Uh-oh.
I almost looked like the same spin out that we had almost seen the time before. Just a hair too aggressive into the throttle, and Wager ends up right by the side of him, and Vlock wants to go mow the grass for us. Thank you, Josh.
We'll see what happens here.
So here's from Wager, and I don't know how you can see anything happening in front of you, period, as no windshield wipers on that car, and he did a really good job of only, like, just kissing the left rear there.
And we'll see what happens down the front stretch. Just loses it right at the line. Now, what you don't really see is that start-finish line is a really, really big start-finish line.
Yep.
When you are racing in the rain, that is like driving on ice.
Okay.
When you hit that start-finish line. So that is exactly what happened. He got to the front stretch, hit the start-finish line, and lost it.
Is there any chance, and not knowing how you angle your way into the corner on the 3/8, is there any chance that he had started making his corner entry there and having the wheels just a little bit sideways is what kicked that thing cattywampus?
I think that very well could have happened as well.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that moving forward here. Oh, by the way, Zaretsky's lead erased on that caution flag, and now Chad Sinner gets to start right next to John. With 9 laps to go, we're back to green.
That was a very, very good restart, very equal at the start-finish line. John Zaretsky with the preferred position, or I'm sorry, the preferred groove, as Chad Sinner fighting hard on the inside, but I think he's going to lose that momentum to John Zaretsky as Zaretsky gets a really good move down the back straightaway into turn number 3 and gets about a car length lead over Chad Sinner.
We have seen that exact, I want to say that exact move, but that line used to pass a lot in wet weather, a lot by Zaretsky himself as he's kicking it. That's going to be like following a guy on I-5 during a torrential downpour with all that spray coming through. This time he kind of arcs his way a little lower into the corner and comes up, but what I was going to say on Sinner, that move usually cuts that corner sharper and comes way further up racetrack before picking up the throttle again. Seems like he was almost halfway in between both of those moves.
Yeah, and when you do that, someone like John Zaretsky, who is up on the top position, or up on the top line, he was already in the throttle way before Chad Sinner could. So Chad Sinner had to obviously make that move and see if he's going to make it work, kind of like what we're seeing right here. But Chad Sinner had to wait a few more seconds to get onto the throttle, and that cut some speed.
There's Chris Thompson also involved in your top 3 there. Thompson has been making a lot of hay on the inside of the racetrack. He'll go up top in 3 and 4 and follow Sinner and Zaretsky through. Let's see if Chris dives way down to the bottom. He's at least 2 grooves lower going into 1 and 2. And that's making some progress for him in the battle for second and for the lead.
Yeah, he makes it work, but Chad Sinner with a really good burst of speed off turn number 2 almost looked like he could have gotten by Zaretsky, but he had just simply no room to get around him because he had Thompson looking to the inside, and otherwise he was going to have to go off the track.
And I'm guessing you don't want to make a sharp course correction to try to go to the inside getting into that corner as well, because that is just an excuse for you to pull what we saw happen to Jensen and go skittering across the racetrack.
Yeah, and definitely in this race, in this style of conditions that you're racing in, you do not want to make an evasive move like that. John Zaretsky, who has ran in the rain before with this car and the Bomber class and the Superstocks when they used to run in the rain, so he is I should say he has a lot of experience racing the rain out here at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, look how well he's just kept that car underneath him the whole way. I don't think I've seen that thing barely twitch once. He's smooth in, smooth back to the throttle. Sinner is doing a great job at making him earn it here over the final 9. And now he is going to peak a half groove higher, at least coming through the corner. So Sinner, see if he's trying to set something up coming with 3 to go. Thompson's still down low. Sinner is going half a groove wider coming around as we look down the front straightaway. Like Wager just smacked the wall, something good. And unfortunately, around at the same time, Jensen at the end of the straightaway, another caution here in the INX Legends main.
Yeah, second caution for this race. We'll watch and see what happens. And look, you can't even see. I mean, it's really hard to see where you're going.
Somebody came across him. There was contact from another car. Let's take another look. As it was Jensen, actually, coming right across it.
Yeah.
It's really subtle, but just enough to the left front. Wager ends up at the wall. Jensen ends up spun out at the end of the straightaway. And for those two young drivers, a promising day comes a little bit short.
Yep, unfortunate for them, but they will come back and live another race day battle here at Evergreen Speedway.
The story is going to be a veteran in this one. It's either going to be John Zaretsky or Chad Sinner playing the big-time spoiler here. With 3 laps to go, and don't count out Chris Thompson or Mason Nelson in the row behind him. Kyle Lang's done a good job working his way back forward as well in the 33 car. So 3 to go. It's a small field of drivers left. We'll see if John can end up getting back to the top of the podium at Evergreen Speedway like he's trying to do. Chad Sinner right there next to him as we'll go back to green.
As a very, very slow start that time, but a good start for John Zaretsky on the outside with the car length lead as they go into turn number 1. Chad Sinner trying to hang tough right there with John Zaretsky. Gets a little loose coming off of turn number 2, but still nothing for Chad Sinner to get around Zaretsky at this point.
Mason Nelson makes the pass on Thompson for 3rd. Thompson groove lower than he is. The only guy really successfully trying the bottom of this racetrack at the moment, but he's going to fall into line in 4th. So we're down to 2 to go, and Zaretsky now, he could breathe a little bit easier with some gap between himself and Sinner, although that can go away in a big hurry.
Definitely in the conditions that they're racing in as, maybe a little contact. And very, very close, tight racing between Mason Nelson and the 10 of Chris Thompson for that final podium spot. Drifts up. The inches got to be separating both of them.
Yeah, kudos to all these drivers who have run such a good race in challenging conditions. It is 1 to go for John Zaretsky. Sinner is just far enough back, though, again, 1 corner can change everything here in the wet, as he will roll it into 3 for the final time. Picks up the throttle at the right spot, and off the corner, Chad, he got there. Congratulations, John Zaretsky. Welcome back to Victory Lane at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, definitely a good job for him, and definitely Chad Sinner, Mason Nelson as well.
Should be a fun podium. Let's go down trackside to the Angel of the Winds Casino Resort podium.
Mason, rain racing. It's something, isn't it?
It's another rain race, I guess. I mean, we've been struggling with some setup, but you don't need a setup when you're racing in the rain. You just need some patience behind you.
Patience and a good crew and good people who help you out. Who are they?
I really got to give a shout out to TriMed, DeNavo Dentistry. I got to give another shout out to, hold on, it's a long list this year. We got a lot of people giving us a hand this year to help us get out on these podiums. I got to thank Resh Training, Joe's Racing Products, GoPro, Elevate Racing Media, Victory Fuel, Winter Sportswear, Central Welding, Insane Grip, and then all my crew, everyone here helping me out. I got to thank my grandpa, my grandma, my mom, my dad, Rick, Bryson, Amber, and Emma for all out helping me out getting on this 3rd place today.
Mason Nelson, 3rd place today in the INX Legends. Well, Chad, I know you weren't expecting Niagara Falls out there for main event today, but race car handled well. Looks like the new brake setup working good, and overall a good way to start the year.
Yeah, it was good. Got sketchy a few times and definitely got some bent stuff, but we'll rebuild and hopefully it's dry next time.
I know you got a lot of thank yous to say, especially this little one here in Victory Lane with you, right?
Oh yeah, we got Cooper here. He's almost won, so. But I got to thank Crossroads Towing for making this season happen, Mazda of Everett, Imperial Auto Salon, Palmer's East, my mom, my fiance, Cooper, Billy, Lauren, everyone that helps makes this possible.
That is Chad Sinner, your runner-up tonight in the Legends. John, wet weather today. You've been really good in this Legend car in the wet. It all comes together to you, and here you are back in Evergreen Speedway Victory Lane.
Yeah, thanks, Caleb. I've been here before, but a lot of life has happened since then. So, first time back since then, and man, I didn't even want to come today. I was going to work today, and my teammate Aaron Flatt and my car owner said, "Come on, I'm like, car's not ready." Didn't work on it. I was over there, and they said, "Let's put the rain tires on." I think we're one of the only teams with rain tires, and I said, "No, we don't have time. We don't need them. It's not raining hard enough yet." I got over in grid, and I got trapped in there, and I said, "Oh, dang, I should put some rain tires on." But it worked out anyway, and it was great to see Chase Jensen running up front. Jesse and I have been close, done a lot of things together, and it's really cool to see him up there, so that was cool to watch. So.
You alluded to it. It has been a wild, long, and winding road to end up back here in Victory Lane. It wouldn't be possible without some really key people standing behind you.
Yeah, Dennis and Vicki McMullen, they're my car owners in McMullen Construction, and they've been kind of helping me out on and off for many, many years, and a big thank you to Aaron Flett. Aaron Flett and Jason Cooker own Kent Collision Center, which is where I work, and Aaron gave me the opportunity a couple years ago. He just got out of his car and let me drive it, and it's been a lot. My family, my friends, and just my home track, Evergreen Speedway.
A lot of people with a lot of pride for you tonight, John. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, Caleb.
John Zaretsky back in Victory Lane. We have made our way to the Outlaw Figure 8A main event in wet weather conditions here on Home Track Heroes. My name is Caleb Hart. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. And, of course, our program brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. This is the Chain Lake Express Wash Outlaw Figure 8 division, and they're in for an interesting race here, Chad. Your front row is Nick Holton, the MCA Creation 71. Next to him, Richard Chainbrook is the 98 in the pristine landscaping car.
Second row inside the 40th, Seth Funded, sponsored by MGM Designs, and the 51, Ryan Clark, sponsored by Bulldog Haven.
It is the Cowboy, John Carlson in the 50, the Fireplace Guy, Hearth and Home LLC, and Zach Larson in the 83G right next to him in the 6th spot.
The 25 car, Dakota Wilkinson, sponsored by Tony B's Garage, and the 767, Jamie Corbett, A1 Auto Service is his sponsor.
It is Dakota's sister, Haley Wilkinson in the 35, sponsored by Cobalt Cycles in Granite Falls, Chris Curtis in the Bulldog Haven Northwest, number 74 car outside the final row. So you got 10 cars. They're gonna go 30, and we know Figure 8s and the Outlaws hate this particular driving condition. This is their absolute worst because they know if they want to move forward, they're gonna have to be physical.
Oh yeah, you got all the horsepower in the world for a very short track to begin with. It's worn out, and now you got rain.
Exactly. They're not on the gas a ton, as it is during normal dry conditions. And I was watching that during practice earlier today, of this entire course. They might be in the gas pedal for 25 to 30% of it. I bet you'd cut that in half here for the wet weather.
Oh yeah, and you're definitely being very, very light on the throttle coming out of the corner. Like I said, you got so much horsepower for these. I mean, most of these cars have more horsepower than an average super late model.
They're also lighter than the late model, and they have those big, gigantic airfoil wings that's allowing them to keep side bite in and through the corner so they can retain that speed. The problem is that you have no corner speed to really use those here. I would almost consider, I don't know, taking them off, or at least taking off one side of them, or shortening them for something like this, because again, you're not getting any side bite out of them when you're not carrying that kind of speed.
Yeah, it's good advertisement space, though. I will say that.
And a guy like Wilkinson's got his number up there.
Yeah.
So, as does Shane Brook, as you can see. Shane Brook out to the early lead. Holton is second, and that is Fundin sitting in the 3rd spot here in the early going. 3 to go. Now, with a field this size, if the intersection comes into play, it'll get extra interesting. That's one place where this race could pivot a little bit, because if intersection becomes a thing, don't have that quick, snappy throttle response to get you out of trouble.
True. Plus, when you slam on the brakes, your car's just going to go straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to have a lot of finesse. You got to know what you're doing here when you're trying to get through the intersection. Alone in an Outlaw Figure 8, and then you add the rain to that. And as of right now, they're starting to spread out. So I can see maybe the next 10 laps or so, we'll get some little light traffic in the intersection. We'll see if Richard Chainbrook could manage that.
That gap between Carlson right there in the 50 and the 25 of Wilkinson is exactly what we're talking about. As you can see, Larson tapping on Wilkinson. He's going to be brave enough to try it, and bravery not rewarded for Zach, unfortunately.
Yep.
And watch him now go way behind the 8-ball here and trying to catch up.
We'll watch and see what happens. He did it in the heat race. He started way back in the field, got spun out, and still almost managed to get a heat race win. Obviously, the track conditions have changed from the heat race to now, but we'll see how this works out for him, and this will probably create a little bit of intersection drama as well.
Oh, absolutely. You can already see that up at the back of Carlson in the 50, that's going to get close in a hurry, depending on Zach's speeds. Carlson challenged the outside of Fundin. Fundin got Bobley, got the tap from Cowboy, and that might be enough. Carlson has room, and ascends up into third.
He's got it now. Yeah, gave him a little love tap and sent him up the track. We'll see if maybe Seth Fundin might return the favor. Still got a lot of time left in this main event, but Richard Shanebrook, I don't know if he's ever picked up a main event win.
He is winless in the A features here at Evergreen Speedway for the Chain Lake Express Wash Outlaw Figure 8 division. So right now, everything breaking out quite well for him. Bolton in second, Carlson in third. There is a gap developing between, oh boy, Shanebrook and Holton, as you saw Larson flash in that intersection real close to the back of the 40 of Fundin.
It's going to get close. Luckily, between both of those drivers, those are very, very light cars. You can see them very well. So that will definitely help out, especially in the conditions like they're driving in. Most of these cars don't have windshields, so and some of them don't even have roofs, so they're probably soaking wet right now.
Oh, absolutely. Driving in the cockpit's got to be slightly miserable, you would think.
Yeah, you know, someone like the 51 Orion Clark, it looks like he has a roof, but you're still getting wet because you don't have an actual cockpit like what the Superstock figure 8s went through.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely miserable for them.
Yeah, these are completely custom cars. You build them from the ground up. A lot of these guys are part of their own chassis fabrication and such to build them. I know Gunderson is. I know both of the Boney cars. You know, they built those things in house. You can't just go to the used car lot and say, "Hey, sell me a Outlaw figure 8 so I can build it into a race car."
Yeah, those days are gone.
Long, long gone. As you're getting a look at Carlson in cockpit right on the back of Holton. You can see how hard it is to see out there.
Yeah, definitely. And then when you add the grandstand lights, that gets even worse. But yeah, they're doing a fantastic job trying to maneuver through this very wet racetrack. As Cowboy John Carlson, probably within the whole field, probably has the most laps among anyone out here. Maybe Chris Curtis too, but he took quite a bit big of a break. But yeah, John Carlson.
And a pile of championships, too.
Oh, yeah, and Figure 8 Nationals, 60 Minutes of Fear. He's won everything out here.
Notable from his absence from the field, Ricky Dietz tonight. We wish Ricky all the best in his ongoing things that he's going through. So, Ricky, hope we get to see you in a race car again here soon. And, you know, he would be gassing her up and trying to put a patch of tire down even in the wet weather.
Oh, he definitely will. I know for sure that car or that motor of his is an old super late model motor because it's my old motor.
There you go. Side by side for third. Fundin managed to pull even with Cowboy. As Cowboy, oh yeah, taparoo on Holton. Around Holton goes. And now it is going to be Carlson in second. Fundin back to third. Look out, intersection. Oh boy. Carlson and Larson. That's kind of your ball don't lie moment from the tap that Carlson gave to Holton getting around, and now Cowboy is stuck.
Yeah, that was definitely adding salt to the wound right there.
That happens. So Holton now in danger of going a lap down. Shanebrook at the halfway point just got the greatest gift he could give, a whole lot of track position between him and second.
Oh yeah, he definitely wanted to see that. The next flag he wants to see is the checkered flag. So he's doing a fantastic job. Seth Fundin, who I believe we saw him maybe last year, but he had a pretty big absence many, many years before. So great to see Seth Fundin back out here at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, I'm supposed he's going to make a run of it here once again. We should see him for most, if not all, of our Outlaw Figure 8 events. That is the 51 of Clark trying to get to the inside of Wilkinson, who I believe has dropped a lap at this point. And Corbett also working in that way. Shanebrook is 1, Fundin is 2, Curtis from 10th to 3rd, making up your top 3 at the moment, who mostly are not in our screen. You can kind of see them flashing underneath going through the intersection now.
Yeah, they're starting to spread out. So when you're a race fan, you want to see the figure 8s start to spread out so we can get more traffic in the intersection. But when you're a racer, you obviously don't want to see that.
Well, they continue to pilot their way around, of course, this division, sponsored by Chain Lake Express Car Wash for absolutely the best car wash ever. Treat your favorite ride, the brand new Chain Lake Express Wash in Monroe. Express Wash has multiple wash packages designed to meet your budget needs. Manage your Chain Lake Express Wash account easily on the go. Download the app from the App Store on Google Play today.
And look who has caught up with our leader, Seth Fundin and also Chris Curtis. We got ourselves a 3-car battle for the lead. And Richard Shanebrook hanging on for dear life, hoping to see that checkered flag fly. Well, you got 10 more laps, Richard.
He's been perfect so far under challenging conditions. You can see the intersection is busy in and behind him, but it's closer to being busy to Curtis than it is to Richard, at least at the moment. Now Wilkinson trying to scoot her way through. That's going to make things awfully interesting with 10 more times around. Shane Brook, the black and green 98. Fundin, the black, yellow, and gray 40. And then Curtis, the red, white, and blue, number 74, your top three doing battle.
Now with all this horsepower and this very, very slick track, it's going to make it even harder to pass. So you could stay right there with them, but you might have to give a little love tap to get around somebody, especially in the rainy conditions that they're racing in right now.
We've seen what a little tap will do. Like, just a bit of that extra momentum can send a guy up more than half a groove and really open the door, but you do run the risk, and especially in conditions like this, of if you're too aggressive on that tap, seeing a black flag.
Oh yeah, you'll get the black flag. They'll put you down. They will make you sit next to the flag stand for a lap, and then they send you back out again.
Then building your momentum up, catching back up, getting your lap back. I mean, a black flag is the kiss of death on a race like this. Has Gunderson closing on the back of Curtis. Something serious there. Curtis third, Dakota Wilkinson is fourth, and narrowing on your top three here. So this is not over beyond third place, as Wilkinson looking to be a factor in the late stages as well.
Yeah, with Shane Brook with the lead, and Fundin and Curtis, those three battling together, Dakota Wilkinson's got to be catching them very fast, and as he is right now, he is right there. Now we got 4-car battle for the lead.
Yeah, it took no time to make up that 5-6 car length deficit that Wilkinson was down. But it's Shane Brook just being perfect out front. He's kept the car underneath him the whole way. You've never seen him get into the throttle too early, break the egg, like you said a little bit earlier. As the 98 car has just been stout and solid up front. Frankly, this has been a good run for Fundin too, sitting in second right now. There's nothing to hang your head about in these conditions. Be a good way to welcome himself back to the competition.
Good top three finish is definitely a great way to start the year, as we got 2 lap cars running side by side, Ryan Clark and the 35 of Wilkinson, as we'll watch and see if lap cars will be a factor here, as they are getting right next to them. Ooh, it's going to be close. 5, make it 4 laps to go.
This is a real strategy conundrum here for Shane Brook. Shane Brook has just stayed nice and conservative right on the bottom. He got that little nudge from the 40 of Fundin, but it wasn't enough to move him out of the groove. Now Wilkinson moves over. That's a huge thing, because now it's only 1 car, and you're only going to have to worry about them getting around 1 groove as Haley's brother Dakota gets by. Now it's Holton that's in front of him, and the question is, what does Holton do? Is look out. Zach Larson having to shoot that gap in the wet weather. That is scary. So if Shane Brook can navigate Holt, this is his. If he makes a mistake, Fundin's got to be ready to pounce.
Oh yeah, this is all going to be in the strategy. We'll have 2 laps to go. If I am Richard Shanebrook, I don't even know if I want to try to make it up to Holt.
Yeah.
Just maintain right now.
Yeah.
Just keep maintaining.
And terminology would be race management. Go just fast enough to not catch him, while being fast enough to not stack up the field right in behind him that can pile in.
Yeah, because you don't want to get, like I said, a little love tap and you'll go around.
Yep.
And so white flag is out for him.
There's just kind of a medium pace that he's looking to keep up here. He doesn't want to get too close, and coming through, he'll have 2 more corners to go after making this one. He should be all right as far as Holton goes in front of him. Question is, does Fundin get aggressive? That would have been the spot, and he doesn't.
Nope. No, and off at turn number 4, give it to Richard Shanebrook. Great job by him. Then we got the 40 of Seth Fundin and the 74 of Chris Curtis.
Congratulations to those guys. Let's go talk to your winners on the stage.
Back at it again here at Evergreen Speedway. You toured around a lot last year. You're back here. What's it like being back on this typical figure 8?
Well, typical Washington, it's raining, but I don't normally race on rain nights anymore, but you know what? We started off with a pretty bad day. We had some engine problems right off the bat, so I missed first practice altogether, and the team got together and we decided to fix it. So we fixed it, and I got 2 practice laps, and then it was straight into qualifying, and I pulled off fast time tonight, so I was pretty happy with that. These MBQ chassis on the front qualified 1-2 tonight, so I'm pretty happy about that. That's our own design, so we're pretty happy with it. But overall, pretty good night for me. I'm very happy we finished with a top 3 tonight.
Back to front, you put on a great show. Who helps you do that?
Oh, man, we got Bulldog Haven Northwest. We got Michael Leone Construction. We got Thermotech Powder Car. What? Yeah, no, I got my arm right here. But Bud Barton's Glass, they help out a lot for us. Thermotech, Tracy DeYoung, hooked us up with a beautiful wrap this year. Whole new design, so thanks to him, we got a pretty nice looking car. So,
Driver the number 74, third place tonight, Chris Curtis. I don't mean to ask the hard questions here, but what more did you need to get around that car?
I was just hoping for a mistake. I didn't want to do him dirty tonight. I know him very well. He's a good person, and I wanted to drive him clean. And he got a heck of a win tonight, and I'm proud of him.
You put on a great show. That 40 car here, week in, week out. Is that the goal this season?
No, I'll be back. I'll be here for every race, except for one. I'll put Nick in the car, but I just got a wedding I got to go up to in Alaska, so he'll be running then.
And who would you like to thank for your amazing performance out here tonight?
AirPros Energy's here tonight, and MGM's Designs.
Driver the number 40 machine, Seth Funden, second place tonight. I saw the black and green machine pull in today on its trailer. You rolled it out, you felt it out, and you led this race. How does it feel to walk away with the win?
It's really exciting. I've been doing the Outlaws for a long time now, and this is my first win, so it's pretty exciting. Very nerve-wracking race. I really got to thank Seth for not taking me out. That's the first thing I said. I said, hey, thank you. He could have put a bumper really hard on me and turned me around, so really got to thank him.
You're chasing your first win. Behind you are two champions of this series. What is that like?
It's just nice to have a win. You put a lot of hard work into these cars, and you go a long time without a win. It's just really nice.
Who helped you put this one together?
So I really got to thank Zach Larson. He puts a lot of time and effort into my car to make sure I can get out of here. My mom is not here, but she got us into this racing. My family at home, my son Cooper for being my spotter tonight. Debbie Doodle's Petting Zoo, All-American Fencing, and Pristine Landscaping.
First time winner tonight here at Evergreen Speedway, Richard Chainbrook.
Final segment of the night here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. He's Chad Fitzpatrick. I am Caleb Hart, and you know what I love more than anything, Chad?
Buses.
Not only buses in the rain on the figure eight, where once again, boys and girls, it is the first bus race of Season 5. We should remind you that the points are completely made up. The rules don't matter. Or is that backwards? The rules are made up and the points don't matter. Either way, it is full contact figure eight bus racing. We know the 7 names of the bus drivers. We're probably going to screw them up more than one time because the numbers are very hard to see. And frankly, we only care a certain amount. We do know that the bus number 59 is being driven by our own race director, Jonathan Peterson. He is in the blue bus, and he is the world's most notorious bus racing cheater. So keep your eyes out on that. That is a thing. Michael Duncan is in the red, white, and blue, number 78, and he is taking around to the very, very wide mark in this. 27 bus, the one out front, the lovely olive green machine is Colin Graber. Pink bus, Jeremy Pratt. Don't call it the, I don't know, lengthily challenged bus at all. It's
the baby bus.
It's a little baby bus, that's right. He runs in second as, look at him.
Oh, we got some bus drifting.
Look at him skid the bus around the corner. That's right, bus racing in the rain is something completely new. The 48 bus, I believe that's the lighter green color. That's Jay Van Buskirk in the Jay Van Buskirk bus.
Oh, yeah, and he is definitely the school bus figure eight champion, I would say.
If we were going to give out a champion of the world, it would be Van Buskirk.
Oh, yeah, he's been doing it over 20 years.
Jeff Ritter is in the 18. That is your yellow with red, white, and blue bus. Look out, Jeremy. No, you can't park that bus there. That'd be a bad idea.
Yeah, Conley definitely putting the block.
But he's got his hazard lights on, so that should make it okay, right?
It's okay. It's okay. You can block people as long as you have the hazards on.
That's right. It's basically the figure eight version of a turn signal, which doesn't happen enough in Western Washington. But I digress. Side by side through the intersection. Oh, leaning on him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. JP around. Black flag that guy, JP. How about that, huh?
Uh-oh. Oh!
And there's a
hard
shot.
hit.
Oh, Jeremy Pratt takes a licking over in the turn.
We stay green, I think.
I don't think we're going to be staying green for long here.
No, I don't think so either. He was trying to get going.
That bus is currently immobile, and you can tell why that bus is currently immobile. Yeah, we're going to slow this thing down and come to a break. So Pratt took a shot, and we will get that bus all taken care of and back in action. You can see the yellow lights blinking. Wow. You know, we've seen some intersection hits, Chad. That was a big one.
That's a new one, too. Definitely a new one. I've never really seen that before.
Well, good news. We understand that Jeremy got out of the bus under his own power.
That's all that matters. We can replace buses.
We can. We cannot replace bus drivers.
Yeah.
Green flag back out. Buses back into action here. And, of course, our final segment, the entire show brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, the name you could trust since 1976. Look at the drift for quality service and peace of mind. Visit them today at GeneJohnsonServices.com. As they say, we're on it.
They are definitely on it, too, as we got some drift. We got a lot of drifting here, and I heard a rumor that there's some drifting coming up in a couple weeks. I think we might have to have them join the competition.
You are seeing our bus drivers, Conley Graber, the 27, get their drift practice on a little bit early. Maybe they're getting ready for the big bounty tournament.
I think so.
I think so. Next time you guys can be live at Evergreen Speedway is the big bounty tournament for DriftCon. That's coming up Saturday, April the 20th. We hope you'll come out here because, frankly, as fun as watching the buses is here on Home Track Heroes, it's more fun watching race cars do race car things in person.
Yes.
Always.
Oh, always.
Oh, Conley. Just look at him lean on the right rear. You think he's, like, adjusting air pressures before they go out?
He might.
Get the right amount of curvature in and around on the bus?
If they have an air pressure gauge that goes that high.
You know, there's a certain company that makes a digital air pressure gauge that goes up to 150. I won't name Joe's Racing Products.
Okay. A little hockey game going into turn number 3.
Why did he take it out of the poor innocent uke tire? Every week here on Home Track Heroes, some poor innocent uke tire gets violence committed to it.
I think we need to do some, maybe some bus hockey now.
Oh, Greg would be great at that.
Yeah.
Get the tips voice going.
Yeah.
Up and around the outside, that's Ritter, the yellow with red, white, and blue bus. Complete with no hood. I never noticed that they had no hood on it before.
Well, hopefully it shouldn't overheat then.
Yeah, well, I'm doubting that that's going to be a problem on the night.
Not tonight, not tonight, no. When the temperatures are in the 40s, yeah, that should not be an issue.
And lots of wet coming down. Oh, JP threw it. We almost had green bus on green bus nerfing going on. As around they go, Conley is continuing to lead. I think Lars Sandgren's out there somewhere in one of the buses.
Somewhere. He's in one of them.
Maybe the white and red.
I think that's Lars going underneath the 27 of Conley.
Is that Lars?
That is.
Green?
Yep.
Okay.
I can just barely see the number.
You're telling me there's like 3 different shades of green bus out there? Jeez.
I'm going to request bigger numbers.
I'm going to request like a red bus and a yellow bus and a purple bus and not like shades of green because that gets tough. Oh, and then he cheated.
Oh, yeah.
Look at him cut the course.
Uh-oh.
Conley cut the course to get back in the lead.
So who's the race director for this
We reserve that kind of cheating for JP because he's the only one who can get away with it. But look at Conley do the bad cheat.
Look at that.
Huh.
So I've never seen this. So is Jonathan also directing this race too?
No, I think he's got the helmet on and is just, working on competition here. I don't know that there is a race director for this. Maybe JD, the flagger, is, and they just knocked something down in the intersection, too. Oh, these bus drivers.
All sorts of stuff going on right now.
Well, around we go. There's JP. As much of a bad time as again, we are very lucky to have him.
Oh, yes.
Yes, excellent at his job guy as he graduated from flag stand to race director. And here comes the checkered flag. So it'll be Sandgren and Ritter and somebody. Else. No, Conley's going to come up and get a trophy too, I think. That'll have to be it. Oh, look at Jonathan spinning him out at the end. That's right. Oh. Get away with it at the very end as he pushes him through, drift around the corner, and that'll have to be good. Well, bus racing done. We'll do that again. I think next time we have buses coming out is Memorial Day weekend, so sign that up on the calendar. It should be a blast. Next week on Home Track Heroes, you're going to be in action. Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late Models will be back. Tire Pro Street Stocks, Stinger 8s, Youth Hornets, graduated Hornets. Going to be a great time. Had a great show tonight, Chad. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And again, don't forget, next time you can be live at Evergreen Speedway, Saturday, April 20th, for the big Bounty Tournament. It has been a blast. Thank you guys for joining us here on Home Track Heroes. Again, brought to you by Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. For all the camera crew, production, Griff and Derek. He is Chad Fitzpatrick. DT on the mic, down on the podium. My name's Caleb Hart. See you next Sunday here on Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.